The technological transformation of human society is overwhelmingly not coming from people inventing things in Silicon Valley. It's coming out of the underground bases and the secret projects where, as I've been saying in the books for decades, the cutting edge of technological possibility is light years ahead of anything in the public arena. And what they've been doing is playing this technology out piece by piece by piece into the public arena. If you notice, there's not been a point where basically people have been sitting around strumming their fingers, waiting for the next level of technology to increase the potential of human control. It's played out, and it's getting faster and faster and faster. Look at it. And it's doing that because it's not waiting to be invented. It was sitting there waiting to be played out. They just need an excuse for it. Because the idea is to turn the globe, the entire human society, into China. China's their blueprint. The Mao Revolution in China was cult stimulated. It was orchestrated by the cult, because what they wanted was a closed society that could incubate a controlled closed society, that could incubate a method of human control, not least technologically, that would eventually be played out across the world. And so you now have the blueprint for global control in China. I've been saying for decades in the books, if you want to see the West tomorrow, look at China today. To the cult, there are no borders, there's just one globe. And China is a very, very big center for this cult, as is Britain and Europe. So you have this technology developed in the secret projects and underground bases and then played out into the public arena. Now, to do that, they need cover stories. They need an explanation of where this stuff came from. And so they have front people. You know, this is how it's been done. It's coming out of the underground bases, long planned and ahead of time. And they're also picking off genuine creatives who create genuine organizations, and they're buying them up and pulling them in to become part of this web as well. So that's how it's been done. That on the face of it are just random and not connected, but you can see exactly why they're doing it, because it's pushing the agenda on. But if you don't know there's an agenda, you don't know where the world's being taken, these just seem like random and often bewildering decisions. I have this phrase, know the outcome and you'll see the journey. Mm-hmm. If you don't know the outcome, then daily events seem random. But if you know where the plan is to take the world and to take humanity, then suddenly know the outcome and you see the journey. These random events become very clear stepping stones to that outcome. So much has come out of the shadows and it's been put on public display. This is why so many people, compared with before, have awakened to the fact that the world's not run by the forces and the people they thought it was before, which has been a positive outcome of this. But the cult can't avoid that, you see, because when you've worked for such a long time under the radar, keeping secret what you want to do to the world, there comes a point where you actually have to do that to the world and transform it in the way you've been planning all these decades and centuries. And at that point, you can't hide it. So instead of hiding it, you sell it as a good thing or as the only thing possible in the circumstances. In terms of, you know, this cult having power, it depends how you look at it. They've created a power structure in the sense of money. They've created this system where banks and financial institutions are creating money that doesn't exist, called credit. and charging interest on it, and thus getting the population into enormous amounts of debt on money that has never, does not, and will never exist. It's just theoretical. That's what credit is. When you go into a bank and you want to borrow 100,000 euros or something, they don't create 100,000 euros physically. They just put it on the screen, because they through what's called fractional reserve lending, they are able to lend vastly more than they actually have, and therefore they can just type 100,000 euros into your account, and from that moment you have to pay back that money, or theoretical money, and interest upon it, which is never created, which is why there's never enough money to pay back all the debt. And all they've done is create money out of nothing called credit. So that's their power base in terms of the way they've structured society. Because people say, oh, it's all about money and it's all about greed, but only on one level. The cult is a network of secret societies and semi-secret groups, which then goes out into the world of the scene. It's not seen in the world of the scene. In the world of the scene, it's Facebook, it's Amazon, it's Microsoft, it's governments, but they're still manipulated and directed by the same global web. And so what you have is a spider in the center, in the shadows. The spider is dictating the agenda. And the strands in the web immediately around the spider are the most exclusive secret societies who absolutely know what's going on. And then as you come out from the spider in the web, you're still in the hidden, you're still in the realm of secret societies, but they're ones that we know about, that we've heard of: the Freemasons, the Knights of Malta, the Knights Templar, the inner core of the Jesuit order, and so on, many, many others. And then as you come out from the spider, you eventually reach what I call the CUSP organizations. These are organizations that are designed to take the agenda of the spider in the hidden and play it out into the public arena. The world's an open book, because every day you can see things being suggested, things being introduced, laws being introduced. The greed and the money system and control of the money system, who has money and who doesn't, is not at its foundation about greed. It's about control. If you control who has the money and who doesn't have it, then in a society in which functions on the basis of interactions through money, you are going to control human society. But if you look at power in a different way, they don't have power. You can't have power ultimately when there's a handful of you and a lot of people who work for you, very few of them in full knowledge of why they're working for you and to what end. The rest are just doing what they're told. Law enforcement, government administrations, etc. You cannot have power over 8 billion people in that situation unless the 8 billion give their power to you. Mm-hmm. And that's what they've done. They've manipulated the billions to give their power to the few. Look all the way through human history. It doesn't matter what the era, it doesn't matter what the culture. The majority have been controlled by the few, because the majority give their power to the few in the form of acquiescence.